Hey, what is up guys? So I am back, and of course we are going to be looking at another video for the upcoming Spider-Man PS4 video game. Now this time I'm going to be talking about something very familiar to all Spider-Man fans, and that is of course his iconic costume. Now we of course know that this video game is going to give us its own interpretation that is taking a bunch of elements from different Spider-Man suits that have come before, which I've already talked about. But specifically for this one, I'm going to be talking about the upcoming game's DLC, which undoubtedly we are going to be getting DLC, and the top 5 Spider-Man costumes I would love to see on Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4. And along with these, I am going to just say if I would like certain, stat boosts to certain elements of the suit to give you a reason to actually switch it up. Number 5, the most recent and recognizable one from the movie, it's of course going to be the Spider-Man Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Tom Holland's costume. I mean, when you really think about it, this is a no-brainer. When you think about it, the game is probably going to be coming out sometime within 6 months of the movie, I would assume. So for that reason, if you were to pack that in there, you can already have free advertising, and a lot of people will probably be obsessed with the new Spider-Man fan, as all of us Spider-Man fans are. So you really only have to put that in there as a win-win situation. Now obviously putting it in there would mean it gets more people to look at it. You could put it as a pre-order bonus somewhere, and it just gets you free advertising as the movie is going to be coming out. But when you really think about what the suit could do, I would say maybe you boost or decrease certain stats and they have something tied to the suit that would make it viable as an option to wear. Maybe you make him move a certain percentage faster, like he could swing 20% faster than whatever the maximum one is. Maybe his punches are a little bit stronger than what the standard costume is. Number 4, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 costume. Now I would also mix this in with the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and call it the Amazing Spider-Man DLC pack. Now, there's obviously reasons why you would do this. One, Sony would want to do it because, hey, it is their own movies and this is their own exclusive game. So they don't have a reason not to put it in here. And when you put them in there, you give people 2 different versions. You, of course, have the first movie version, which is a lot darker, a darker costume. So for that, I would go out there and boost the way that the suit, dishes out damage. I would make it way more damage than any of the other suits that are in the game. But on the other side of that, I would make the people of New York kind of look at you a different way, almost as a vigilante. So maybe when you're committing, some sort of heroic act, people aren't so willing to come as close to you as they are in the other costume. This is almost like the element they've had in some of the other Spider-Man games, where if you put on the black costume, people are more resilient to come to you and they're like, I don't know, because they know that is synonymous with being bad. And how to, in the first movie he was portrayed more of a vigilante that the New Yorkers weren't so, always supportive of. I think that would make sense. And I guess for part 2 would be the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. And how cool would this be? It's probably the most comic accurate Spider-Man we've gotten in live action. And when you really look at it, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of people love this suit. I think it's great. And if I had to give this one a bonus, I would say give this one some sort of comedic bonus or something like that. Like, go all crazy out with it. Like, say, Spider-Man is going to dish out more jokes. And maybe more jokes means that it's tied to the way he fights, because Spider-Man uses jokes as a distraction, and I think that could be a really good way to kind of balance that feature out. Number 3, and this is my personal favorite Spider-Man costume, and this is of course when he was part of the Future Foundation, the white costume with the black lines. I think this one just looks absolutely awesome. Now, of course, this costume, I would say you give it a swing boost, but not only that, you give him a gadget boost. So let's say like his radar, how it's detecting crime around, has 100% boost over what it currently has. So instead of saying, let's say he could tell crime a mile out, he could do it 2 miles out. Let's say his eyes can, detect, damage and danger coming from a little bit further away, so his spider sense is enhanced. And of course his web shooters, I would say, can fire at a more rapid speed, as it is the Future Foundation. I say he reworks them. You know, obviously input first from the Fantastic Four would be the nudge hint there. So maybe, you know, he can really shoot webs out faster, giving him the ability to swing faster too. Number 2 would be the Scarlet Spider. Now obviously there are a few versions, and I would go with the hooded look for the Scarlet Spider-Man. And this one is really a no-brainer. Ben Reilly probably being one of the most popular Spider-Man clones out there. This one makes all sorts of sense to me. You really put him in that suit. You have, you know, the unique looking web shooter on the outside. You have the hoodie, just gives him this cool look. Maybe you even, you know, give us the ability to remove the hoodie off and on. And I think that would be something really cool. Now for his special abilities or anything like that, obviously, I think you would want to make him more stern, as he was a clone and things like that. So I think you give him way more power, probably more power than any of the other characters out there or any other suits out there. And I think you also make him better at using gadgets. So maybe, just maybe, because, you know, he does have these web shooters that are different, he made his own and he is a clone, maybe you make him a little more, I would say, not exactly smarter, but a little more street savvy, as he has to, you know, live this different life, if, you know, for playing by those type of characteristics by the suit. So you kind of make him a little more brutal and things like that, and I think that would just be really cool to show off. And before we get to number 1, let me just make an honorable mention, which would be the Miles Morales costume. Now the reason I don't list it on this, despite the fact that it would be my number 1 if I was allowed to use any suits, is because this is primarily a Miles Morales costume, and I'm hoping that someday we will get a Miles Morales video game, so that's why it's just here as an honorable mention. Number 1, and I would make this costume unlockable by getting the Platinum Trophy. Now, the Platinum Trophy should be pretty hard to get. It shouldn't be something easy. It should be something that only the most dedicated fans get. And of course, it should take the game being completed 100%. Now, once you do that, once you beat the game on the hardest difficulty, done everything possible, you should be able to go to start a new game plus, and the game gives you the ability to have one of 2 suits. Now I'm using this as one of 2 because I think the game needs to be able to pick which one of these 2, and I would honestly go with the number 1 suit, which would be the Superior Spider-Man with the robotic arms. And I would make just Peter Parker a total badass in this. Honestly, you go straight up full on, you know, Superior Spider-Man. You have him, and the crowds do not like him. He's way more brutal. You will have the ability to just kill the criminals. You're not stopping. You're not rubbing them up. You kill them in this new Game Plus mode. Like, you have the ability to propel yourself with the jetpack and the boosters a small amount of time. When climbing up the walls, you can literally take those arms, jab them into the sides, and there's like wall crumbling around them. Like, totally go out and make this something amazing. So there it is, guys. That is my top 5 suits I would love to see in the game. You guys can let me know what you think of mine, and let me know yours down below, and thank you for watching.